How to help a stubborn student become more interested in studies. Hello, my name is Joshua Mugabe. Stubborn students can be difficult to teach, but it's important to persevere. The stubbornness may be masking feelings of inadequacy, fear or anxiety about learning or not being good enough, so it doesn't pay to be pushy or harsh. Instead, look for ways to encourage the student to come out of his or her shell and help to restore a love of learning. Today, I would like to give you 7 steps to help a stubborn student become more interested in studies. Step 1. Talk to the student. Ask the student why he or she isn't interested in his or her studies. If you know the reasons that the student has for lacking interest, you will have a better understanding of where the student is coming from. It will help you to find solutions tailored to what might interest the student. Step 2. Explain why education is so important. It can help to tell the student that everyone has to do things they don't much like in order to be able to do things that they do like. Explain that this applies not only to studies but also to work, keeping house, getting along with people we don't much like, etc. If the student can understand that life is about balancing the undesirable tasks with the fun things, it can sometimes help to clarify that it's short-term pain for long-term gain. In fact, try to use an analogy with something the student enjoys, such as sports, gaming, or fashion. Step 3. Pinpoint the student's interests. Use these to create study regimes that have more interest for the student. For example, if the student is really interested in cars or fashion, try to tailor the learning materials to focus on these areas. In math, the student could be learning about how many meters of cloth are needed to make an inventory of clothes, or how many metallic sheets are needed to fulfill an order of new cars. In art, the student could be asked to paint a dress or a car. In science, the student could be asked to research the strongest fibers or how to make a car more aerodynamic. By shifting the focus to something the student cares about, the learning process can be made a little more easy and a lot more interesting. Step 4. Work on negative feelings. If the student feels anxious about failing or incompetent, you'll need to work on improving the student's thinking abilities as much as their learning abilities. This isn't a time for cliched think positive sayings. It is a time for getting to the root of what makes the student feel so lacking in confidence and scared of failing. It also means looking at how you might be fueling this fear, such as expecting too much of the student or demanding responsiveness before the student is ready. Step 5. Check that the student has been taught proper learning skills. Learning skills are different from learning a subject. These are such things as taking notes, reading to comprehend, breaking down text, skimming, learning how to revise properly, etc. None of these skills are innate and need to be taught. They are not always taught well in the school system, so you may need to set aside some time to address this in detail. Once the student has grasped learning skills, he or she may find learning a lot easier and more enjoyable. Step 6. Reward the student. Choose a reward that acts as a good incentive, such as cake or money. Any reward must be directly linked to achievements and should not be the reason for doing the study. Always clarify that the learning process is as important as the end result. Step 7. Be enthusiastic yourself. The student will pick up on your own disdain or dislike for any subject and may simply use this as an excuse to not perform. Keep any such thoughts to yourself and instead express interest. And with that, you may now dance and drink tea in celebration when your student child rushes upstairs to grab his or study books.